Good afternoon and welcome to the Happy Half Hour. I'm Leigh Kubin.
And I'm Sandra Priestley. Welcome to the podcast. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Oh, guess what I'm drinking today?
What?
I am drinking sparkling water again,
Yeah.
but I gotta drink more water, man. But this one is blueberry and pomegranate. And
Okay,
the brand
that sounds delicious.
delicious. And I'm gonna taste it here, but it's the brand is AHA or AHA. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
But like, how cool. AHA. Like
Uh-huh.
I kind of just love drinking it. So,
So does it have sugar in it?
um, well, let me look. It's got no sweeteners. It has no sugar. It has no nothing.
Ah,
Really?
okay.
It's got 5 milligrams of sodium.
I was in the grocery store looking for all these fun flavors, maybe some different colors, and
Yeah.
everything that I found was just full of sugar. Huh,
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. But
My
that looked
blood sugar, my fasting blood sugar is a little bit high. So I need to like drink more water. I need to get my crap together. And so this one was a really good one. I
okay.
thought I need to drink more like sparkling water
Yeah,
and
nice.
anyway,
Well, I'm
yeah,
doing some peach sparkling water in my pretty little cup
I love it.
with a little ice cube in there. I'm not going to finish my day today till 7, and I figured I didn't need to start drinking just yet.
Not just yet. Okay, I want to start off. I
Yes.
got too cocky last week.
Oh, it
So
happens.
I was talking, it always does. I was talking about Mercury. I was talking about how we can really just like, this is an opportunity to be mindful. This is an opportunity to just really like listen and sink into what are the ideas that come forth. And then, like with the eclipse and
Mhm.
with the Mercury in retrograde
Mercury.
and all the, like, because I really like to focus on the positive, I don't really like to focus on the negative too terribly much. So I got cocky and I was saying all of these amazing things. Well, holy hell. Then the eclipse came. 2 days before the eclipse, I slept 8 hours between 2 days. Now, if I don't get 8 hours of sleep, I am like licking the windows stupid. And so I was barely hanging on. And I was like awake from 1 until 5 in the morning. Like that is not like me. I usually wake up, go pee, go back to bed.
Mhm.
And then I had this like odd headache. I was dizzy. I didn't feel good. I had this weird tension headache that was like I'd never had before. It was so strange.
Yeah.
And then I found out, oh, wait, this is common. These symptoms are common: tired, lethargic, headache, dizzy, bit of nausea, irritability. Like, oh, okay, well, there goes all of the amazing stuff that I thought I was going to have, right? And then it hit me in the ass again about Mercury, because I'm always the one that says, oh, everyone is bitching about Mercury and it's not a big deal and it's so exciting and it's an opportunity to be mindful. And then
Mm.
I something happened and it triggered a situation from the past, something that just, it's like little T trauma and it just
Yeah.
triggers me every time. And I know better than to act when emotions are high, because when
Right.
emotions are high, intelligence is low. Well, I did not listen to that knowledge.
Oh.
And so I,
Did you do,
totally,
Sandra?
I was totally keyed up and I started to rage text my son. I was pissed about something. I totally like went off the deep end, assumptions of the yin yang. I mean, I was like, I'm rage texting. And he got to the point where he's like, okay, I'm going to block you at this point. And all of a sudden I'm like, dang,
Mhm.
Mercury is about when it's in retrograde, it's about miscommunication.
Yep.
It's about
Especially
all
over
of the,
text.
especially over text. What the
Yes.
fuck?
Yes.
Anyway, so I have to eat my words. I
Yeah.
am not immune
Mhm.
to the astrological phenomenon.
No,
I
no.
am well not above this. I mean, I know I teach people to respond and not react. If you are in reactivity, like do nothing. Go for a
Mhm.
walk, leave your phone,
Mhm.
don't talk to anyone. I mean, calm your tits before you respond.
Yeah.
And I did not do that.
But don't ever tell anyone to calm their tits that
Well,
need to calm their tits, because that will send them over the edge.
true. But I can tell me that.
You can tell you that. Just don't tell me that.
Right.
I've been told that before.
Relax.
And it really,
Relax.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't make me
No.
relax.
No. 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 Anyway, so I needed to, and then I had to fucking apologize, which I don't care, like I needed to apologize. It was
Well, and that's
so
good for him to see.
like I apologize a lot. But so I apologized and he apologized back. He did not block me. He may have for a brief moment
Right.
served it. And so then what was beautiful about it was we had like after like I had apologized to him, we had a really good, like better understanding. And I was able to say, you know what? Like I was triggered. This thing triggered me and it put me into fear mode and assumption mode. And I
Yeah.
know better than to do that. That was absolutely not fair. You are 100% right. I will try to do better at not texting when I'm activated.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and this is not mind blowing. It is not rocket science. I know this. I teach this. I just,
But you think about how many parents are triggered because they get
Mhm.
into fear mode. Their kid does something,
Yeah.
triggers that fear in them. They start making assumptions. They start telling stories. They're going down the rabbit hole. They're losing their shit,
Mhm.
but they can't apologize to the kid because they don't do that. I
Right.
remember being told when the kids were very little, when I'd snapped at them for something, and I'm
Mhm.
like, I am so sorry. And I
Yeah.
was told, don't ever apologize to your kids. What are you doing? And I was like, well,
Okay.
when I fuck up, I'm going to say I'm sorry. Like,
Absolutely.
hello. But
Because
there are
then
people,
you're gonna raise humans who can't apologize.
right? Correct.
Like it's
And
yeah.
what a gift. So you lost it. You had a moment. What it
Yeah.
led you to in that moment between you. Now, in the future, you might have this conversation play back and go, last time I did it this way, this time I need to just tell him up front,
Yeah.
hey, I'm triggered right now and this is what I'm seeing. And it's
Yeah.
bringing this fear up. And I want you to know why I'm feeling or acting this way to you. And then the
Right.
dialogue. Oh, and the growth.
Well, that's what happened after, right? Like it was like this
Mhm.
much better respect for each other, I think. Like I think
Yeah.
I was able to tell him how I felt, he was able to tell me how he felt. And so it was really good. It was a good there's my positivity for Mercury. It was a good outcome.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of like emotion that was maybe not required if I had just been able to walk away. Like it was like, oh, rage texting. Like my thumbs were mad. And
Oh,
so
see, I don't even do that. I just turn on that handy microphone and I just start talking. Sometimes it misspells things and says ducking, but for the most part, it's on point.
not so much a smartphone. It's rare that I use the word ducking.
I've never, ever, ever, except for today,
Right.
used the word ducking,
Right.
just so we're clear.
Right. Anyway, but what a, it was a really good opportunity for me to like, first off, think, don't get too cocky because Mercury could come and bite you in the ass too.
Yeah.
And also just like this really good understanding of like, again, assumptions over fact.
Hmm.
And is this like throw your phone in the freezer or somewhere? I don't know. But like when
Where
I'm
was
triggered,
Cam?
I can't be near it. Oh, he was sitting back watching the show going, that wasn't good.
He's like, hold on, I'm going to make some popcorn so I can finish watching this, see how
Yeah,
it
pretty
ends.
much. Pretty much. Anyway, so it was all good, but wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we've all been there. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you had a good outcome. And I had a Mercury moment today. And I don't know if it was a Mercury, full moon,
Mm,
devil's comets, or whatever that, I don't know what it
there's a lot
was,
going on. Yeah.
but I was at the chamber luncheon, and I'm working check-in. And anytime anyone new comes in, they always hand them off to me. I take them, give them a tour, kind of show them the ropes. Like I'm telling him all this stuff, and he's just kind of looking at me. So said, well, tell me about what you do. And he tells me the name of his business. And then he starts telling me that he helps salespeople and he trains, but he's not like a coach, but he trains people so that they don't maybe have to hire sales managers because everyone's really on the same page on sales. And then he looks at me and he goes, do you understand anything I'm saying to you, or am I talking over your head? Sandra, I punched him in the throat
Oh,
and I got kicked out of the lunch. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. That would be like, it would be one of those moments for me where a whole bunch of options would start flashing in my mind, and throat punch would be one of them.
Oh, it was one of them. But
Yeah.
but then there's Tony, president of the chamber, that's also in my mind, that is always going, don't embarrass us. When you are an ambassador, you work for us. He doesn't say that, but it's kind
Yeah.
of what he means. Like, it's
Right.
just like I can't throat punch anyone at the office,
Yeah. Maybe not.
same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I sort of reiterated back what he told me. And it was so interesting because as I'm listening to him talk, what I'm thinking is, man, he might be someone really good to introduce to the doctors, because what
Mhm.
he's talking about would be so useful at our office for the team as a whole.
Right.
And, but then when he insulted me and talked to me like I was a stupid woman that couldn't
Right.
dare comprehend what was coming out of his little mouth,
Right.
no, he's off the table. No, ma'am. So annoyed. But then I get back to my post and I'm wanting to tell the girls up there, do you believe what this SOB just did? And
Yeah.
then I said, no, you're not going to give that energy. You're
Mm.
not. And then I went, Mercury, misunderstandings.
Smarter than what I did last night, but yes.
But I was at work and not with my family.
True. But yeah, misunderstandings,
Mhm.
miscommunication, arguments, and plus it's Aries, so it's more fiery.
Yeah,
You killed it in that
I did kill it in that,
conversation.
but I still, in a moment, wanted to take him down.
Yeah. It
I,
would,
I,
I remember one time, and I mean, okay, I was 20. So this was 30 years ago, and 30 years ago looked a lot different than now. But 30
oh,
years
for
ago,
reaction?
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
not for reaction, but for what would be acceptable
Oh,
in
yes.
how men would treat women, right? And so 30 years ago, I was still kind of fiery. And I was purchasing a car, and I was purchasing a turbo laser um, red car. And so I can't remember the kind it was. GM laser, Chevy laser. I don't know. Anyway, it was
Was it a little sports car?
fancy little sports car, and it was fire red. And I went in, and I had just recently broken up with my boyfriend of like 7 years, right? And this was like my opportunity,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I had more money. I moved home with my mom, so I was paying her rent at the time, which helped her out, but I had more cash. I was working a couple jobs. And so this was like my freedom car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to buy this amazing car. And I walked in and I start to ask. Now, my dad, he had a business and he like knew a lot about mechanics. And so I knew what to ask when I was buying a vehicle. And so I started asking all these questions. I asked, was it in an accident? The mileage, like I was asking all of these different things. And the salesman says to me, but don't you like the color? You know, I was so offended. And at that time, I was also working in the bar, and I was pretty much a
Oh,
stall
yeah,
when I worked in the bar.
yeah.
And working in the bar is a little weird because I mean, there are some of the waitresses that I worked in a brew pub, I worked in a dance club, I bartended for weddings and events, big, huge. And so weirdly, in the brew pub, we would always have guys come up, put their arms around us,
Oh, yeah.
say, hey, sweetie, could I get a drink? Pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
I used to just stand there and stare and say, can I ask you, do you put your hand around your bank teller? If not, why is it around me? I mean, that was my like the way that I would be. And I
Yeah.
used to piss me off because the other girls who would allow guys to do that to her created a culture where it seemed to be acceptable. And I wouldn't lower myself to I wasn't comfortable with it. And I didn't care if I got 0 tips. I wouldn't
Right.
do that. So I was working in the bar at this time. And that's the kind of energy that I had. And so when he says, but what do you think about the color? Don't you like the color? My response was like, how dare you suggest that the only thing that I like, the thing that is going to sell this car is the fucking color?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How dare you assume this? I'd like another salesperson, please. Like, and he just like fell over himself trying to apologize. But holy hell, was I pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And that was 30 years ago. And
But
nor
what
was
a
I
moment
think then, right?
for him,
Right.
because it made him think.
Mm-hmm.
It made him go, holy shit.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm making this story up, but maybe he learned something that
Maybe.
because sometimes they don't know something until
Mhm.
you say it.
Yeah.
And it's like that patient that I made a comment to that is a very common saying, and she was so offended by it.
Wow.
This happened, it was since the podcast started.
Okay.
And I felt horrible
Mm-hmm.
when she said something, and then she's like, I'm not coming back. And I had seen her, she was offended by a lot of people and a lot of things. And I
Okay.
thought, I don't need to invite her back, but I do need to learn a lesson from this. And not
Right.
only will I never utter that phrase again, and I still
Mm-hmm.
feel terrible.
Yeah.
I had no idea what it could mean to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned a huge lesson from that.
Yeah.
And hopefully your car guy did too. And maybe he's like progressive now and He's,
Maybe, or maybe I am forever known as the bitch who didn't buy the red laser from me, but bought it from someone else. Like, I don't, I should have asked for a female.
do they have females?
Not that I know of. I don't know.
I know.
Probably not in that time.
My dad
Probably
was
not.
always in a dealership. And now
Mhm.
that I look back, trying to think if there were any female salespeople in the
I
day.
didn't see any. I didn't see
They were
any.
always in the finance department or the office or the cashier or answering the phone.
Right. I mean, yeah. If you look back at what our lives, like how things have progressed
Yeah.
since we were born, I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know. I can't imagine. Well, I was going to say, I don't think anyone would treat me like that now, but you were treated like that at the chamber. So, hey, in 2024, that can still happen.
Well, it is because there are pockets of those kinds of people that want it to go back to that.
Yeah, it's true.
And I mean, there is a guy here in Texas that is vocally saying women should not have the right to vote.
What?
Period. Our problems in this country come from women having the right to vote. I'm not even making it up. Here in the
Oh,
county that I live in. Yeah.
wow.
So they're out there, but there
They're
are more of
out there.
us than there are of them. So I don't have too much fear about him getting his wish
Right.
because we would never allow it.
Yeah. Right. Wow, that's crazy.
Isn't it insane?
But it is kind of cool to think, I mean, of where we've come,
Yeah.
in our 52 years. Like
Oh,
how
for
things have
sure.
shifted because I don't see like my daughter being exposed to that sort of her being exposed to that sort of like pushing us down or us not
Yeah.
being
Well,
equal,
and
right?
they wouldn't stand for it
Right.
for a minute.
Yeah,
No, no.
exactly.
But I have been, since I have written my grandpa,
Mhm.
Sandra, tell me why I'm having all these little memories pop up. And they don't pop up out of nowhere. Like something will happen and it
Okay.
will remind me of something. And last night after dinner, Lily had gotten Easton a book at school. It was book fair day. So she picked him up a few books when she picked him up. And after dinner, when I was doing the dishes, they were working on one of the books and it's his shapes and drawing and colors and doing that kind of things. And then she gets to this questionnaire and she's going through asking him questions. And she gets to a question that says, what are 3 goals that you have? And I was like, oh, what are his goals? Like I'm
Right.
all leaning in.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, got a basketball goal,
Aw.
got a soccer goal. That's all my goals. And she starts laughing and I start laughing. And it reminds me of a time that I was in 4th grade and we didn't have a home to live in. My mother
Okay.
was pregnant. Her husband had divorced her and we couldn't go to my grandma's because my mom was pregnant. So we ended up at her best friend from high school.
Okay.
They lived on a farm. They were very, very poor. They had 5 boys and they had an extra room in the front of their house. It's like the formal area because it was her father's house that no
Okay.
one like they weren't allowed to use because like who wants 5 boys in a formal area of anything,
Right.
especially those 5 boys. And so they put us up in that bedroom up there. And my brother just stayed with the rest of the boys. Anyway, we lived there and I'm in math class. And so I've got a lot going on for a 4th grade. I mean,
Right.
there's a whole lot. And in the
Yeah.
midst of this, I have started my period.
Oh,
Like so it,
when it
you know,
rains, it pours.
I mean, I'm 9 years old with all
Mhm.
these the outside things going on. And then
Right.
all these I mean, I'm in a time, right? So I'm sitting in
Yeah.
math class. Well, I daydream a lot, especially in school. I would
Okay.
just sort of zone out and kind of go to a happier place. And I missed some instructions. But what I heard the teacher say was, I need you to write down 3 problems on your paper, and then we're going to solve them.
Uh-oh.
Sandra, I had written front, back, maybe even gotten to another page. Just, I got problems for days. And then I look up at the board and I realize they're doing math.
Math problems.
And I went, shit.
Bracket 3 times 2, bracket minus 4 equals. Yep.
Uh,
Missed it.
missed
Wrong
it.
class.
And I'm looking, going, oh, I cannot get caught. Like, if the teacher sees my paper, I'm done for. And I start erasing. I don't know how I got rid of it. I think I just had to get new paper.
Yeah.
But it was one of those moments that popped up. And I'm like, is me writing grandpa, like just having all of this stuff just kind of bubble up? It's interesting.
I think so.
Hmm.
Because what do we do? Like when we're younger, we have all these, like, I call them like little T traumas, but like it's almost like a tear in our soul. Those things that
Oh,
happen that are embarrassing to us, maybe, or
uh-huh.
somehow upsetting to us. And when we're younger, we stuff that shit.
Oh, you said it perfectly a few weeks ago.
Did I?
You said pretend normal.
Oh yeah, we
And
do.
that was the thing. You just pretend normal. It doesn't matter what has just happened to you. You
Yeah.
cannot act
Yeah.
like anything is other than rainbow and sunshine.
Normal.
Normal.
Absolutely.
And I
But
don't,
then we hold on to that stuff, right?
yeah.
And I think that because you're writing your grandpa, it's bringing up this opportunity for you to release it with grace.
Mm,
Like you're going back, like you're talking to him like you're
yeah.
younger, right?
Yeah.
Like he was alive. And so it's taking you back there and
Mhm.
it's allowing you this beautiful opportunity to sort of work through and heal as an
Yeah.
adult, heal these little T traumas that you experienced as a girl. Like it's like healing your inner child.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I love it.
But man, the stuff that's
Yeah.
popping up, nothing awful. It's not like I've forgotten that stage of my life, like it's a
Yeah.
surprise. But it's
Yeah.
just interesting how these waves of I'll see stuff with the kids and it'll remind me of something. And I'm like,
Mhm.
of course, I
Now,
laughed about it with Lil.
the question that I have
Mhm.
is when it came to the surface, did you feel the emotion again? Like, did you feel that embarrassment? Did you feel that, like,
No,
the feeling?
it
I
felt
never had
more
that.
like I wanted to hug her, like, "Poor baby."
Mm.
Like, I wish I
Yeah,
could go whisper in her ear, like,
yeah,
as me, like, seeing
right.
it happen,
Yeah,
going, "Honey, this is normal. Of course, you're gonna write down
yeah,
all like, your life is a big problem. Everywhere you look right now in your life,
yeah.
there's no stability."
Sweet to
Mm.
think that the teacher is saying, "Write down your problems and we're gonna solve them," and you're going, "I'm homeless."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, come on, let's go team. Like, the bigger thing is,
Solve
like,
that one.
everyone is, like, struggling with, like, well, I wanted this toy and my mom wouldn't buy it for me. Like, we're gonna solve, what did you think, you're gonna solve all these problems, but like,
Right.
let's solve Lee's homeless. Right? Like, those are big problems for kids in your grade. But
Yeah.
how sweet that you would do that. I love it.
But on that note, I'm thinking we're probably out of time. I
We
think we're just
are.
out of time.
We
Look at that.
are.
Thank you, Sandra. This was amazing. And thank
It
you guys
was.
for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday on the Happy Half Hour. Bye. Bye.
Bye.